What up and welcome back to the finale of my playthrough of Silent Hill. We are in a strange place. If you save, the game will tell you that it's called Nowhere. How mysterious.
I'm being summoned. What happened in this town? What could be making things like this? I have a feeling if I take the elevator down, I'll find it. Cheryl.
I love that with everything going on, his priority is still his kid. Ooh, Ghost Girl. Looks a lot like Alyssa, or Cheryl, if you will. This looks like the hospital, but it's not. There's no map for this place, however I did find a good map on Game FAQs, which I will link in the description, as well as a pretty good analysis video of this game. So you can check that out at your leisure. Let's see what's down here. And as you can see, we are definitely not in the hospital. Unlike the other classrooms we saw, there's only one desk in here. You can tell that whoever had this desk definitely was the victim of a lot of scrutiny and torment by their classmates. And since we've only seen one kid in this game, there's a couple key items we need to get. You can imagine that victim is Alyssa. And we've heard that girl called Alyssa, who Harry also started to theorize might be Cheryl, even though when we get confirmation of that, he's going to forget that he thought about that. I may spoil a few things talking about the story, but that's because... oh geez, nurses! Nurses! I like the idea of anybody experiencing this game for the first time. This is about to startle me because I think the nurse is coming from the other way. Oh geez. Run, Harry, run! I like the idea of people having some idea of what's going on, at least as best as I can describe it. I hate it when movies string you along the whole way, not even telling you what's going on until the last second, so that you can't even appreciate the journey. We picked up a key item, we can use that here to get a key. Harry also mentioned that Cheryl is adopted, and he figured, okay, she could have some sort of a connection to this town. So I'm guessing that plays a part in him figuring that Alyssa is Cheryl. We don't know the full scope of that yet. We'll find out more about that later, although we can tell that Alyssa has some kind of power. What I don't think this game covers is this town has some sort of a spiritual power to it, kind of like an energy, where weird shit happens. For example, we're seeing Alyssa's nightmares come to life. Come through this door and go through this door. And we get a puzzle that confused me the last time I LP'd this game. If you look at these pictures, that number that's underneath each picture represents the number of limbs that each creature has. So what we need to do is actually pretty simple, once you realize that. And I'm not the only one to get stuck on that on a Let's Play. I have seen at least a couple, Titan, that got stuck on that part. Oh no, it wasn't Titan. It was Sega Fan! That cunt. He got stuck on that. Actually, I don't remember if he did or not. It's been a while since I saw his Silent Hill playthrough. For those not aware, Titan used to be Sega Fan. So all we gotta do is match up the number of limbs to each of these pictures. I love that sound of stone scraping on stone. I think of it the most from the original Resident Evil. There were a number of statues you had to push. I really wish they kept that in the remake. Oh god. No! Ha! I made with the jukes! Get out my face! I don't know if it's just me being blind or if it's something else, but there's something about certain classic sounds in games. Sometimes they're not even the best, like the handgun sound from Resident Evil 2 and 3. It's not the best handgun sound in the world by a long shot, but it's still classic, just like the sound of the clacking keys from the typewriter, Harry's footsteps in this game, the different sounds that the monsters make in this game. Although I would argue that this game is much better sound design than Resident Evil. Not that I think Resident Evil is bad. So we saw those two boards that give you the clue of what to do here, but the game doesn't exactly tell you what to do. You need to put the first letter of the first name of each of these people in order. It'll spell out alert. This one gave me some problems. I wasn't sure if I needed to type in the entire names of everybody or what. That just seemed excessive. But just type in alert and you'll be fine. And I don't think the Resident Evil games have bad sound design by any means. I'm definitely not shit-talking those games. Here's another key item. This item is a part of a set of items that we're going to need to get to the final area. Now let's go ahead and see a sad cutscene.
Harry,
Lisa, what's the matter with you?
I get it now. Why I'm still alive even though everyone else is dead. I'm not the only one who's still walking around. I'm the same as them. I just hadn't noticed it before.
Lisa.
Stay by me, Harry. Please. I'm so scared. Help me. Save me from them. Please. Harry?
Lisa.
So out of all the zombie nurses that we've killed, Harry just couldn't bring himself to take down Lisa. This file details what's going on with her. She was put in charge of looking after Alessa, who was burned in a fire. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I'm a little hazy on some of the details, but at some point the experience is so traumatic she turns to drugs. I'm not sure if she was an addict beforehand or if she turned to the drugs to cope with looking after Alessa. I would recommend pausing and reading this file. I was gonna splice in Ty reading it, but I'm too lazy to do that. And Kaufman, her boss, is the leader of the drug trafficking ring, so he was more than happy to provide her with drugs. Another YouTuber I've talked about, One Doomed Gaming Critic. His analysis video will be the one I'm posting in the channel description if you're interested. His theory is that is not Lisa. That is Alessa's memory of Lisa, which is an interesting theory, and there's definitely evidence to support that. She knows a few things she probably shouldn't. The more aware she becomes, the more monstrous she becomes. Harry even notices, hey, you don't look so good, in a previous encounter. We picked up that stone tablet. We will be using that as soon as I find it. I think there's evidence to support both theories that it is Lisa or that it's Alessa's memory of Lisa. There are some things Lisa knows that I don't know how Alessa would know. That cutscene always made me laugh. I'm not sure if I buy that or not, but he definitely has his valid reasons for thinking that. There are a few questions I have about if she's dead, how could she do certain things? But it is interesting that she can't leave the hospital, which is, in my mind, one of the strongest proponents of his theory. Dahlia, Sybil, Harry, they can all go wherever they want. So can Kaufman. But Lisa was stuck in the hospital. Plus, like I mentioned before, she becomes more monstrous the more self-aware she becomes. It's an interesting theory that I had never heard before. No fourth floor this time, so no need to worry about that. And I decided to bust out the rifle. One thing I've never really done in this game, in all of my playthroughs of it, is use the rifle very much. And I've got plenty of ammo. Hey! Got something for you. Death from afar. It is kind of strange because in Silent Hill, I don't think of people turning into creatures. But we did see that with Sybil, that she became one of these puppet nurses briefly, before we were able to cure her. Oh, this horrible sound. It's well done, it's just horrible. Some ammo and a couple of key items. So the idea behind this area is it's, I guess, Alessa's nightmare unraveling, becoming more jumbled. It's kind of cray-cray. And we did see that Alessa got struck with that beam from the Flauros. There's a lot I'm definitely not going to cover as far as the lore is concerned. Definitely unlock that door. It is very important you do that. You will be screwed if you do not. We don't necessarily need to come here yet. I'm pretty sure the game would let us sequence break this, but I've never tried. Every now and again, games like this can be a cunt and make you go this way anyways. So I'm just going to do it just to be safe. This will give us a clue to something we're going to do here in a few minutes. And why we needed to unlock that door. So if we take off this panel, we'll get there. Don't worry. We can see that there's a key there. I didn't click on it, but it's there. But it's caught up in some electrical wiring that's live. So we can't do anything with that right now, or it would be insta-death. I actually don't think you can try to take the key. I'm pretty sure Harry will just say that he can't touch it right now. I think that's some ammo I just passed, or a save point, I'm not sure which. What I care about is this camera, which I don't think you actually need to solve the puzzle that we're going to use it for. But I want to show it proper as best I can. So this door we unlocked, look where this takes us. Right back to the first floor. So you can imagine what we're going to need to do. We're going to need to find a way to turn power off to this place. And once we do that, the elevators are not going to work. We'll need to do that in order to get the key that's being held up by electric wiring. Although if Alessa's leading us through this area, I don't know why she's not making it easier on us. I'm sort of going to show the solution to this puzzle. There are 3 spots on a door. You have to input each of those codes. I did that on the store and went inside, and all I found was a health item. I know there's a book on White Claudia, which is the drug that Kaufman is peddling. You'll see what I'm talking about when I open up this door. But I couldn't find it. And going back to Lisa, Kaufman was the one in charge of Alessa, and he assigned Lisa to be her nurse, which was very traumatic, which we'll find out more about that in a bit. As soon as I get through this puzzle. So there's some pretty fucked up stuff that's gone on in this town. And with this town having some sort of a spiritual power, I'm actually not sure if Alessa has power or if she's just in tune with the spiritual power of this town. I don't know if she went to another city, if she would still have her powers. There's another key. Now let's get out of here. This is an annoying little trek we have to make. As you can see, no fourth floor. We got this key just to go open up a birdcage, just to get another key, to get in a door. They really could have cut that out, and just had us go up there to pick up the key to the door that we need to go to. I'm not a fan of that. Although, another game in the Silent Hill series does show off powers being used outside of Silent Hill. So you can see what I mean there. We had to use that key in order to pick up another key. Minor game padding. It's not really offensive. It's just kind of annoying. If you hear that sound, open fire. Harry seems a lot more accurate with this rifle. I don't know if there's a scope on it that I'm not seeing. There are a couple things we need to do in here. I'm trying to get as much done in here as I can so that we can turn off the power and go finish off the rest of the area of nowhere. That way all we have to do is explore this area. I'm trying to limit the backtracking as much as possible. Anyways, let's take a look at this videotape.
What is it? Still has an unusually high fever. Eyes don't open. Getting a pulse, but just barely breathing. Her skin is all charred. Even when I change the bandages, the blood and pus just start oozing through. Why? What is keeping that child alive? I can't stand it any longer. I won't tell a soul. Promise. So please.
You gotta feel bad for Lisa. That sounds like a pretty messed up situation to be in. This took me forever to figure out on my original playthrough. You have to open up this bag of jelly beans in order to find a key. I never would have guessed you could interact with this bag. Hooray, we get a key. I don't know about you, but I would prefer the jelly beans. Hey, the creepy music has stopped. Hooray! Finally, some peace and quiet in here! Damn it, music! It's actually really well done. I know I've sung the praises of this game's soundtrack many times. Okay, I spoke the praises of the soundtrack. We don't need me singing. That ain't a pretty sound for anybody to hear. So now that that power's finally turned off, let's go ahead and finish off that first area of nowhere. That map that I mentioned before is really good and really helpful. So if anybody is using this video as a walkthrough, definitely check out that map in the description because it should be helpful. I used it when planning my routes for going through this area. And now that it's not electrified anymore, we are good. And yet another teleporting door. I guess we have a lot of those in this area. That one in the school felt a little out of place. Oh geez. That was actually kind of lucky for me. Harry actually aimed and shot the thing just the way I wanted. That's kind of iffy in this game sometimes. So everything is now cleared out except for this hallway. We picked up a ring earlier. We need to use that to create a chain. If you don't do that, then you're gonna die. I'm not sure what's in there. Either way, we can pick that up. Now let's leave. Damn it, creature, you're bringing back the scary music! How dare you! I mentioned in the sewers we would be hearing that sound again. It's very grating. I know that's what they were going for. Yeah, Alessa did not have a happy childhood. Was picked on by all the kids for being a witch. Her mother, we'll find out what her mother did in a bit, but you can tell that she was abused and grew up with all this religious symbolism. Her mother's a religious zealot. I'm not saying all religious people are bad, but she is. Let's see what's in the store.
Everything is going according to plan, sheltered in the womb.
But it's not done yet. Half the soul is lost. That is why the seed lies dormant.
And what soul remains captured in that husk is buried deep down in the subconscious.
Are you trying to say it won't work? That wasn't our agreement.
No, these are just stalling tactics. If we lend a hand, we will be able to get power. Never fear, the promise shall not be broken.
But the power we could draw now will be very weak. Almost nothing. Unless we get the other half of the soul.
We'll use a magical spell. Feeling this child's pain, it's sure to come.
But that will take time.
Dahlia is a bitch. I will never understand somebody that can be cruel to their child. So this is actually Alessa's hospital room. Imagine lying in bed burnt alive and having that picture of what you used to be sitting next to you. That's not my observation, but it's definitely noteworthy. And in here we have Alessa's room. Pretty Spartan. She's a big fan of animals and bugs. A lot of the enemies in this game are animal themed. I figured I would show off a couple of Harry's descriptions of some of the items in here. All this because Dahlia wants power. So we went on a scavenger hunt collecting all these items. This is what these items are for, to unlock this door. It's interesting that Dahlia is the biological parent of Alessa and treated her horribly, whereas Harry adopted Cheryl and treated her with nothing but love and affection.
No, I don't want to. Do what Mommy tells you now. I just want you to lend me a teeny bit of your power. That's all.
No! I don't want to do it!
It will make everyone happy, and it's for your own good, too.
Oh, but Mommy, I just want to be with you. Just two of us. Please understand.
Oh, yes, I see. Maybe Mommy has been wrong.
Mommy!
Why didn't I see this before? There's no reason to wait. Herein lies the mother's womb, containing the power to create life. I could have done it all myself.
Mommy?
She's a bitch. This again is more of Alessa and Dahlia's house. I wish this was a dungeon to explore. Kind of like the police station is another area I wish we could have explored, both in normal and otherworld realm. I'm trying to show a picture over there that's kind of religious and would be kind of fucked up for a child to look at on a daily basis. Let's go ahead and proceed on.
I was shocked to realize the talisman of Metatron was being used. In spite of the lost soul returning at last. Just a little longer and all would have been for naught. It's all because of that man. We must be thankful to him. Even though Alessa has been stopped, his little girl has to go. What a pity.
Freeze! What in the devil's name?
Dahlia.
Well, well, well. To think you'd make it this far.
Where's Cheryl? What have you done to her?
What are you talking about? You've seen her many times, restored to her former self.
I'm in no mood for jokes.
Don't you see? She's right there.
That's absurd.
You are the only one who thinks so.
Why? Why are you doing this?
It's been a long 7 years. For the 7 years since that terrible day, Alessa has been kept alive, suffering a fate worse than death. Alessa has been trapped in an endless nightmare from which she never awakens. He has been nurtured by that nightmare, waiting for the day to be born. That day has finally come. The time is nigh. Everyone will be released from pain and suffering. Our salvation is at hand. This is the day of reckoning, when all our sorrows will be washed away. When we return to the true paradise. My daughter will be the mother of God.
Quit screwing around. Return things to how they were before.
Kaufman!
Did I ask for this? Nobody uses me. You won't get away with this.
Your work is over. We don't need you anymore. What do you think you can accomplish by coming here?
My, aren't we getting cocky? Bet you can't see this and keep your cool.
A glove it is! I thought I got rid of that!
All I had to do was plant it somewhere for you to find. You all, well, kept you busy. Ha! You're easy. And there's more where this came from.
Stop it!
Huh? What the?
Oh shit. Final boss time. The main strat against this thing is run in a big circle. That will help you dodge most of these lightning attacks. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And then unload on the thing. Also check your ammo constantly because you don't want to have to reload in-game. Damn you, succubus! I was hoping to not use any more healing items. So that's basically all you need to do for this fight. It would have been nice if Kaufman had something to do with this fight, since he survived. Maybe provide the thing a distraction, so that it would be easier for you to shoot it. That's right, succubus, you take my load! My load of lead, that is. Bullets, not another kind of load. What? You sick bastards! How dare you be a perv! Although, to be fair, this thing has giant boobs, so, you know, the game's kind of doing it for me. I'll talk more about what we witnessed in the end credits. It's interesting that our flashlight doesn't work here. Not sure why that's a thing. And as you can see, I do not use any ampules in this playthrough. These should be the last healing items I use. All that collecting wasted! You cunt! Just die!
Ah, the taste of revenge is sweet.
Well, that's it! Another playthrough down, and as I do at the end of all my Let's Plays, walkthroughs, whatever you want to call them. Victory Sip! This is still one of my favorite games of all time. When this game hits, it really hits, and even though it has its problems, I still love it. It's still a classic. It's still my favorite in the series. Jumping right into the plot, essentially Dahlia wanted to perform some sort of a ritual to impregnate her daughter Alessa with something that would cause her to birth the god that her and that cult she's a part of believe in. How that exactly works, I have no idea. Probably magic of some kind. All pretty fucked up. You could tell that Dahlia was incredibly abusive towards Alessa, as was pretty much everybody. There's a file I wanted to find and I missed it, where one of the teachers talks about thinking they should go to the police because they noticed that Alessa is being abused. Sadly, I was not able to find that file. And Alessa got burned during the ritual by accidentally setting off a fire in the boiler room of the house. And that bit with Alessa putting those seals all over town, that was her trying to prevent the nightmare from spreading, because she's a good person. And that's the good plus ending. That's the best ending you can get in the game. Keep that in mind. In the best ending of this game, Harry, who's searching for Cheryl this entire time, does not get to take her home. She's dead, and he's given a new baby to take care of instead. Essentially, Alessa did what she did before, split her soul off into two, gave the other part to Harry, as she's gonna die. And you don't find out in this game the gender of the baby, but it's a girl. We will find that out more in another game, which is part of the trilogy. I love this game. It's a classic. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in whatever I do next.